Hey folks, this is Rhykker with some Diablo news. In this video, we're going to talk about some new job postings for Diablo 4, we're going to talk about the release date of the Necromancer pack for Diablo 3, we're going to talk about a Diablo 2 remake, we're going to talk about the leaked mention of the Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, and we're going to talk about some new cosmetic wings that you can earn in Diablo 3. So starting with the Necromancer pack, while we don't officially have a release date yet, I feel it's going to come very soon because we now officially have an end date for Season 10 and a start date for Season 11. Season 10 ends Friday, June 23rd. Season 11 starts Thursday, July 20th. Now, the reason they gave for the season starting on a Thursday and not a Friday is to ensure there is adequate time to respond to potential issues with seasons before the weekend begins. Again, this suggests that maybe the Necromancer is releasing on that Tuesday, or possibly even that day. It would be a little odd, but if the Necromancer has just released, then there's more likely to be issues that arise. That said, a Thursday for the start of season is definitely going to screw with a lot of people. People have work the next day. A lot of people like to spend the Friday. Season starts have almost always been on Fridays, and that gives you time to play long into the wee hours of the morning. But anyway, Season 10 has already lasted longer than average, and that delay between Season 10 and 11 is also going to be longer, much longer than usual. This is all very strongly pointing to a Season 11 release for patch 2.6 and the Necromancer pack. Right now, all evidence is suggesting that the Necromancer will launch with, or slightly before, Season 11. Given Tuesdays tend to be patch days, that means that we can see the Necromancer officially release on Tuesday the 18th. That would be just a couple days before season start, so the alternative is maybe as early as July 11th. But July 18th would be the safer bet. I suspect it'll be 1 month in advance that they will officially announce the release date for the Necromancer. And of course, with that, the price. Now, real quick, because people always ask, what happens when the season ends? What happens to my character? You lose nothing. Your season character becomes a non-season character, and all your blood shards, all your currency, all your crafting materials, all gets combined with your non-season. All your stash items get mailed to you. All your achievements are maintained. You lose nothing, don't worry. Next bit of news, the Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. Now, this post here appeared about a week ago on the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Rating Board. This is a system in America that gives games their rated M for mature rating, for instance. As you can see here, the platform for this is listed as PS4 and Xbox One. The summary doesn't give much more information, but what is noteworthy is that this page has since gone down. Seems there was a bit of an oops, and the ESRB let slip something before it was officially announced. So what could Diablo 3 Eternal Collection be? Well, there's already the Ultimate Evil Edition for console. That's the bundle of Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls. Odds are Eternal Collection is that, plus the Necromancer pack. And this will most likely replace the Ultimate Evil Edition in stores. Now, I know some people want to think, oh, but what if this is the name of a new Diablo expansion? Guys, it's not. It's really not. First off, the name doesn't make any sense. The name is clearly some kind of bundle. And second, we know that there is no expansion in the works. If they'd already have an ESRB rating, that means the expansion, if this were an expansion, would be just about ready to release, which the Necromancer is. But when I spoke to Blizzard developers a couple months ago, in person, I was told that development of the Necromancer started in 2016. And at the time, there was no expansion in the works. They had to decide, what do we want to make? Could we make an expansion? We'd love to, but it'll take us too long. We will make instead a character so that we can release it in a more reasonable time frame. So there's no expansion coming, guys. Next bit of news, we'll just quickly talk about the cosmetic Diablo wings that you'll be able to earn in-game through a Heroes of the Storm cross-promotional event. These here are the wings, the Ghost Kerrigan wings. You might already have Kerrigan wings from having the Digital Deluxe edition of the first StarCraft 2 expansion, Heart of the Swarm. Well, now you won't have to spend any money at all to gain these wings. From June 13th through June 26th, there will be a Diablo-themed event coinciding with the release of Malthael and Heroes of the Storm. All you have to do is play 15 games with a friend, and it could be versus AI. You play those 15 games, and then you earn these cosmetic wings in Diablo 3. Now you can bang out games versus easy AI in about 7 minutes apiece, so you can do this all in under 2 hours. If you have not played Heroes of the Storm and want some beginner tips, go through my old videos, I've got some starter guides. Alright, now let's talk about the Diablo 4 job postings. We technically don't know that it's for Diablo 4, but it is most definitely listed under Diablo, and all the job postings reference Diablo. Some people like to argue, well, they're just hiring for another game, a secret project, and they're gonna label it under something, so they put it under Diablo. No, that's not what it is. It is 100% sure that it is for a Diablo game. There's a lot of very specific verbiage, a lot of things they're asking for. They want you to be a Diablo fan, they want you to be familiar with the Diablo aesthetic, with the Diablo universe. These are definitely 100% sure job postings for a Diablo game. In one of the job postings, you see that they're demanding, or requesting rather, a cover letter. Well, it is a demand because they say they won't consider any job postings without a cover letter. So they're demanding a cover letter in which you explain why you are interested in working at Blizzard and specifically Diablo. Now you can argue whether this means the job postings are for Diablo 3 or for a Diablo 3 expansion versus, say, a Diablo 4. Well, these job postings have been coming up for a long time now. We covered them a lot in the past when there were the initial wave of job postings, and a few would be added here and there. Currently, there are 10 job postings, and a lot of them for very important positions. We've got 3 art and animation jobs, we have 4 engineering jobs, we have 2 game design jobs, and 1 production job. So look, these are a lot of jobs, and I think the general consensus is that there's not a large team left working on Diablo 3, and that we probably don't have much more to expect coming to Diablo 3 after the Necromancer, apart from maybe a character pack. We know now that it took 1 year to release 1 character. If they're gonna start working on an expansion, we're gonna be years away from release. Would Blizzard really want to do that, or are they working on a new Diablo game? Again, we've, in previous videos, covered a lot of reasons why it is most likely a new Diablo game. We just say Diablo 4 for short. Before, I wasn't sure whether it would be Diablo 4 or something else entirely, but after reading these job postings, I'm believing more and more that it will be Diablo 4, and we're gonna go through some and see what we can learn. So one job, there's a production director job, which is a huge role and involves leading the development. And if you read the job description, something that they want from the person they're gonna hire is massive multiplayer game development experience. This is a bombshell. We speculated that maybe Diablo 4 might go MMO, but now, if this doesn't outright confirm it, this is very strong evidence to suggest that they will be going in that direction. This significantly narrows down what the new Diablo game could be. We'll talk more about that later. Under another job posting, Creative Director, which is another very important role. The ideal candidate will understand the core of what makes the Diablo universe resonate with players. I think Blizzard really wants to be careful about recapturing the spirit of Diablo in this next game, knowing full well that Diablo 3 lost a portion of the fanbase. They go on to ask of the creative director a deep passion for dark fantasy in general and the Diablo franchise in particular. I think Blizzard really wants to ensure that their next Diablo game wins back everyone they lost. And that's gonna be tough. People are mad. Another job posting, senior level designer. Now, this is sort of just my impression here, but as I was reading this, I was seeing stuff that seems to hint at non-randomly generated levels. I'll admit that I don't have very strong evidence for this. It's just a general impression that I get. So I'm not saying that the game would not have any randomly generated levels, but there seems to be a little bit more importance placed on sort of set pieces, having some levels that are predetermined. Could this be something like a raid in an MMORPG? Again, though, that's just speculation. Next, we see under the outsourced supervisor for character art, understanding the visual style of Blizzard games and a passion to push it to the next level. So, this kind of confirms that we're sticking with the Blizzard art style. Blizzard has a very signature style. They have that sort of exaggerated proportions and leaning towards cartoony, you can say, or stylized is how they would call it. But people definitely pointed that out from the transition from Diablo 2 to Diablo 3, that Diablo 3 was more WoWified, for instance. So it seems they are continuing in that direction. That said, even if they do, I'm certain that they will take a step more towards the gritty, the grim. I feel that they were already doing that with Diablo 3 with the later patches, Reaper of Souls and the Necromancer pack. So I think they're aware of the concerns that players have had, but they've also recognized that their stylized art style has done them well over the years. So they're not going to completely move away from that formula. Whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, that's up to you guys. Next, we've got technical artist for characters, in which they want you to also work well in an environment of peers who are passionate about Diablo, have a basic knowledge of animation, enjoy making great games, killing demons, and getting loot. Again, this helps focus in what kind of game we're gonna get, because it could have been literally anything. Odds are would have been a very Diablo game, but this confirms this is gonna be a Diablo game, right? You're killing demons, you're getting loot. That's always been the heart of Diablo. Then the last job posting we'll look at here is Senior Software Engineer Server. And this is a senior position and will focus on network communication, player interaction across server boundaries, network security, maintenance, and game feature implementation. So this 100% now confirms this is a multiplayer game. Okay, let's just take a step back now, and what can we learn from this? What can we glean from this? What can we infer from this big picture? Well, first off, it looks like the development of the new Diablo game is entering full swing. The last time we were covering a lot of the news on this, it was very much the preliminary steps of just coming up with core concepts. Now it seems we're getting job postings for things that are actually going to start being implemented. Development is going to be getting underway. We also know that this is not a Diablo 3 expansion. As far as we know, there's no plans for an expansion, as we've covered before, and as we've covered in older job postings. The engine is clearly not the Diablo 3 engine, it is a more advanced engine, so if they will be making an expansion for D3, that means they would be making it on an entirely new engine. It doesn't point towards an expansion, guys. As for just being for D3, would they really be hiring all these people? Would they be hiring all these big important positions just to maintain production or development on Diablo 3? So assuming that there is a new Diablo game in the works, it's clearly a multiplayer game. It is possibly a massively multiplayer game. And it's seeming like it will be Diablo 4. I was previously hesitant to say Diablo 4 because it could have been something in the Diablo universe, but radically different. It could have been a Witcher-style Diablo game. It could have been a Skyrim-style Diablo game. And if they would have gone in a different direction, then they likely would not have called it Diablo 4. But multiplayer, killing demons, getting loot, this is all very traditional Diablo. So I think it's becoming increasingly fair to call this game Diablo 4. Now, while development may be entering full swing, if this is an MMO, those things take very long to make. So we're going to be a long ways away from release, and likely we're not going to hear news about this at this coming BlizzCon. Maybe we will. I'd love to be surprised, but I would not expect any news. Alright, we're gonna finish this video by talking about a Diablo 2 remake being made by one man as a mod in StarCraft 2. He's been working on this project literally for years. It's been a pet project. He's been doing it on his free time. He recently started an Indiegogo campaign in order to help fund development so that he can actually take time off work to push this through. And it's called The Curse of Tristram. You're seeing it here. You can go play it in StarCraft 2 in the arcade. Again, it's a mod. It's built in the StarCraft 2 engine. And I tried this out about a year ago, I want to say, and he's done an admirable job. The game is looking great being brought into the 3D world. It has that nostalgic impression. That said, it doesn't feel the same. And exactly why this would be was made evident to me when I interviewed David Brevik, when I asked him about possibly remaking a Diablo 2. The feel of the game is dependent on the engine, the responsiveness, the sort of ticks per second. There's so much about the game engine that if you don't have that same game engine, the game won't feel exactly the same. Diablo 2 was built on a grid, whereas StarCraft 2 isn't quite built the same way. And it was jarring for me to see something that very much looked like Diablo 2 remade as a 3D game. It looks great. And again, the creator did an excellent job making it as close as possible to Diablo 2, but there's something that just cannot be recaptured, and it's the feel. That said, this is free to try. Go try it out. I encourage you guys to go try it out. And if you like it and you want him to finish, then you can go over to his Indiegogo page. Again, it's called The Curse of Tristram. I'll put a link to that in the description as well if you want to help him out. He's already raised $1,200, so if you want to help this project that's gone on for years and years and years finally come to fruition, you can go check that out. And also, I realized that the creator lives about an hour away from me, so that's kind of cool. Salut Etienne! And that's where we'll wrap up this video. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about all this? I know we covered a lot, but is there anything here that makes you excited? Is there anything here that makes you angry? Do you want Blizzard to make another Diablo game? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykkers Raiders for more Diablo content.